Hello there, and a warm and sunny welcome to you. If this is your first time joining us, I'm thrilled you found your way here, and if you've been along for the ride before, then welcome back. You know how it goes. You're with Tales from the World's Firesides, and I'm Clive Gilson, the storyteller, on this journey through tales from every corner of the globe, including some that feel like they were cooked up right in your own backyard. Now, today's tale is one that's got a little kick to it. It's cheeky, clever, full of trickery, and proudly rooted in southern Africa. It's called The Monkey's Fiddle, and if that title doesn't already get you grinning, I don't know what will. Just know there's going to be some trouble. This version comes from my Inkathaso Tales collection, a bundle of stories gathered from across southern Africa. And for today, I've given this a little dust off, a little polish, but I've kept the heart of it intact. The laughter, the wit, the lessons, they're all still there. So whether you're listening from the shade of a marula tree, or relaxing on the step with a mug of rooibos, or stealing a quiet moment between chores, go on, get comfy, kick off your shoes, and let's slip into this story together and see what kind of mischief Monkey gets up to this time. The Monkey's Fiddle. Hunger and want forced Monkey one day to forsake his land and to seek elsewhere among strangers for much needed work. Bulbs, earth beans, scorpions, insects, and such were completely exhausted in his own land. But fortunately he received for the time being shelter with a great uncle of his, Orang Utang, who lived in another part of the country. When he had worked for quite a while, he wanted to return home, and as recompense his great uncle gave him a fiddle and a bow and arrow, and told him that with the bow and arrow he could hit and kill anything he desired, and with the fiddle he could force anything to dance. The first he met upon his return to his own land was Brer Wolf. This old fellow told him all the news, and also that he had since early morning been attempting to stalk a deer, but all in vain. Then Monkey laid before him all the wonders of the bow and arrow that he carried on his back, and assured him that if he could but see the deer, he would bring it down for him. When Wolf showed him the deer, Monkey was ready, and down fell the deer. They made a good meal together, but instead of Wolf being thankful, jealousy overmastered him, and he begged for the bow and arrow. When Monkey refused to give it to him, he thereupon began to threaten him with his greater strength. And so, when Jackal passed by, Wolf told him that Monkey had stolen his bow and arrow. After Jackal had heard both of them, he declared himself unqualified to settle the case alone, and he proposed that they bring the matter to the court of Lion, Leopard, and the other animals. In the meantime, he declared he would take possession of what had been the cause of the quarrel so that it would be safe, as he said. But he immediately brought to earth all that was eatable, so there was a long time of slaughter before Monkey and Wolf agreed to have the affair in court. Monkey's evidence was weak, and to make it worse, Jackal's testimony was against him. Jackal thought that in this way it would be easier to obtain the bow and arrow from Wolf for himself. And so the sentence fell against Monkey, and theft was looked upon as a great wrong, and he must hang. The fiddle was still at his side, and he received as a last favour from the court the right to play a tune on it. He was a master player of his time, and in addition to this he now added the wonderful power of his charmed fiddle. Thus, when he struck the first note of cockcrow, upon it the court began at once to show an unusual and spontaneous liveliness, and before he came to the first waltzing turn of the old tune, the whole court was dancing like a whirlwind. Over and over, quicker and quicker, sounded the tune of cockcrow on the charmed fiddle, until some of the dancers, exhausted, fell down, although still keeping their feet in motion. But Monkey, musician as he was, heard and saw nothing of what happened around him. With his head placed lovingly against the instrument, and his eyes half closed, he played on, keeping time ever with his foot. Wolf was the first to cry out in pleading tones, breathlessly, "Please stop, cousin Monkey, for love's sake, please stop." But Monkey did not even hear him. Over and over sounded the restless waltz of cockcrow. After a while, Lion showed signs of fatigue, and when he had gone the round once more with his young lion wife, he growled as he passed Monkey, "My whole kingdom is yours, ape, if you just stop playing." "I do not want it," answered Monkey, "but withdraw the sentence and give me my bow and arrow, and you and Wolf acknowledge that you stole it from me." I acknowledge," cried Wolf, while Lion cried at the same instant that he withdrew the sentence. Monkey gave them just a few more turns of the cockcrow, gathered up his bow and arrow, and seated himself high up in the nearest camel thorn tree. The court and the other animals were so afraid that he might begin again that they hastily disbanded to new parts of the world. And there we have the tale of Monkey and his Fiddle. Today's story has been edited and adapted from a real treasure. It's from James A. Honey's South African Folktales, first published way back in 1910 by the Baker and Taylor Company. It's a story that's been sitting there for well over 100 years, and much, much longer than that, I'm sure, in the native traditions. And that's the beauty of these old folk tales, isn't it? They don't worry about time. They travel through the years, through borders, through languages, and somehow they always manage to speak to us right where we are. If you're from Southern Africa, you probably already know the power of a good story. You've probably heard some version of this one around the fire or under the stars, maybe from your own sort of family or a go down the road or whoever. Stories are woven into everyday life, and they carry wisdom and humour and warnings and laughter. And they remind us all who we are, where we come from, and how we're all connected. So whether you're listening from Lesotho, Namibia, Botswana, Zimbabwe, or Mozambique, or anywhere across this vast and beautiful region, I'm really glad you're here. And if this story made you smile or sparked a memory, you might enjoy a few more. You'll find my collections, including more tales from Africa and all corners of the world, on a link at the bottom of the screen and also in the main description for this YouTube video. If you're wondering who I am, I'm Clive Gilson, your curious and friendly story guy. I'm the voice behind Tales from the World's Firesides, and if you want to learn more, just pop over to clivegilson.com. And hey, if you enjoyed today's tale, why not give us a like or a follow or even a subscribe? It helps others find their way to these stories, and it means we can keep telling more. I've got plenty waiting for you week by week, tale by tale. So until next time, stay warm, stay kind, and let's keep the stories flowing, because when we share stories, we share understanding, and there's a real magic in that. Stay well, and I'll see you again soon.